Hi everyone, welcome back to another recap video. Make sure to like and subscribe. This show is about how a boy gets to meet a shinigami, but not the one of death, but in fact the one of love. This shinigami makes many girls fall in love with our main protagonist by using the kiss note. Will this story end if our guy getting stuck with a whole lot of girls, or will we see some action? Make sure to watch till the end. The show begins and we encounter Seiji Aino leading a rather ordinary student life until an enigmatic young lady appears at his doorstep. She not only adorns herself in the attire of a shinigami or death god, but also asserts that a kiss from her is imperative to avert impending doom. Naturally, Seiji dismisses this as another religious solicitation or a deceitful ploy. However, his skepticism is shattered when the girl inexplicably phases through his corporeal form. The enigmatic visitor goes by the name of Guri, and she presents a peculiar notebook inscribed with Seiji's name. Realizing the eerie resemblance to a certain anime reference, Seiji is filled with dread. The mysterious girl confirms that anyone whose name is inscribed in the notebook must engage in a kiss within 24 hours or face dire consequences, her own demise. Seiji is taken aback by this revelation. Nonetheless, he briskly ushers Guri out of his residence, heedless of her tearful pleas. Harsh words escape him as he firmly shuts the door, leaving Guri to lament her fate. However, Seiji's resolve is swiftly eroded as he contemplates potential repercussions from displeased neighbors. Guri's persistence knows no bounds. She reiterates her dire need for a single kiss, beseeching him relentlessly. Seiji, burdened by perplexity, regards her as an eccentric. He questions why she has singled him out and why his inaugural kiss should be shared with a Shinigami impersonator. To allay his apprehensions, Guri assures him that their kiss will mark the commencement of the most remarkable chapter in his life, offering the added promise of her salvation through his love. Upon closer scrutiny, Seiji discerns Guri's inherent charm and beauty. How can he possibly refuse her advances when she is so evidently infatuated with him? Summoning every ounce of courage within him, Seiji, albeit with a strained countenance, bestows upon Guri a brief, tentative kiss. However, Guri's response is unexpectedly muted. She elucidates that this was not what she intended, proceeding to open the notebook and inscribe an X between the names of the House Speaker and the Prime Minister. Upon switching on the television, they are confronted with the televised spectacle of the Prime Minister and House Speaker sharing an intimate moment. Seiji is left agog. He queries Guri regarding her choice to pair two men, and she nonchalantly discloses it as a personal pastime. In truth, she had intended to pair a popular BL actor with another gentleman, but inadvertently included Seiji's name due to a kanjic error. No apologies are forthcoming from Guri. Seiji learns two crucial facts. Firstly, if Guri pairs two names in her kiss notebook, the designated individuals will share a kiss within 24 hours, and secondly, if his name remains unpaired within the same time frame, Guri's fate takes a dire turn. Seiji is to lead a chaste and unsullied life indefinitely unless Guri pairs him with a desired partner. She harbors aspirations of uniting him with his ideal suitor, a prospect Seiji vehemently opposes. Taking matters into his own hands, Seiji escorts Guri to his school, where he encounters Kanehiyama, the object of his affection, as well as the girl with sentient mamatatas that emit audible sound effects, truly a spectacle. To his astonishment, Akane, the popular girl, approaches him. Though Seiji is momentarily flustered, the unflappable Akane assures him that she remains unaware of her surroundings. As if to prove her point, she playfully exposes Akane's shorts, exclaiming her obliviousness to the situation. Akane asks casually, sending the two in a panic mode. Seiji vehemently denies any romantic interest in the girl, while Guri dramatically questions whether their kiss held no significance. The moment the word kiss escapes Akane's lips, a shift occurs. The sky takes on a foreboding crimson hue, and ominous music sets the stage. Akane's face contorts with a cold rage befitting a yandere, and she cheerfully declares her intent to exact revenge while brandishing Gurkha knives. Infuriated by what she considers cheating, despite their non-existent relationship, Akane lunges at Seiji. Guri intervenes, taking the brunt of the knife blow to her head. Astonishingly, Guri remains unaffected, intensifying Seiji's terror. In his panic, he flees with Guri and Tao to evade Akane. However, it doesn't take long for Akane to track them down and stab Guri in the back, cradling the now immobile girl. Seiji learns that Akane had always admired him from afar, waiting for his confession. Touched by Seiji's admission, Akane regrets her actions but still intends to harm Guri for her role in their misunderstanding. She plans to dismember Guri, even though the knife to her head didn't work. Yandere logic prevails. Akane advances toward Guri, still in Seiji's arms. In a brave move, Seiji shields Guri with his own body. Just as Akane is about to strike, she suddenly finds herself kissing Seiji. Guri had paired their names. This impromptu romantic moment causes Akane to blush and Gyuri announces the creation of a couple. She explains that couples formed by the kiss note inevitably get married. While Akane is overjoyed, Seiji grapples with the chaos of being bound to a girl he considers unstable. They decide to play hide and seek. He hides and she seeks professional help. But there's more to the story. Since Seiji repeatedly called Gyuri a Shinigami, she undergoes a magical girl transformation and reveals herself as Cupid, explaining that the Shinigami attire is just cosplay. As Akane celebrates and Seiji despairs over their eternal bond, Gyuri kisses Seiji again, pairing her name with theirs, creating a love triangle. Seiji protected Gyuri, which made her question her feelings and desire to understand human love. As for Akane, she's angry at Seiji's flirting and resorts to stabbing him repeatedly. To Seiji's surprise, he doesn't die because he's paired with an angel, granting them immortality. Now, being immortal sounds nice, but not when you have a yander stabbing you every 5 minutes. This is basically the monkey's paw in action. The next day, Gyuri wakes Seiji with a kiss and a headache, seemingly part of the family. Seiji is increasingly annoyed and freaked out as his family treats her as their daughter. When they attend school with the two angels, Corley, the supervising angel, explains their new roles as temporary angels. However, they must ensure Gyuri fulfills her angelic duties, which proves challenging as Gyuri isn't keen on working. Seiji takes this responsibility seriously and emphasizes the significance of genuine love, earning Corley's approval. When their classmates discover Seiji and Akane's relationship, they react with anger. Seeking respite, Seiji and Gyuri find themselves on a staircase. Gyuri kisses Seiji, lamenting her lack of emotional response compared to their first kiss. A blonde girl witnesses this, accuses Seiji of being a womanizer, and steals the kiss note before making a hasty escape to the rooftop. Worried about the situation, Seiji chases after her and finds her on the rooftop, writing something in the kiss note. Seiji attempts to approach Yuzu to retrieve the kiss note, but a sudden barrier envelops her, causing a section of the rooftop to crumble, sending them both tumbling to the ground. Unfortunately, Akane witnesses the two together and is ready to confront Yuzu, with Gyuri adding menacing music to the scene. Akane becomes momentarily distracted by the tunes, allowing Yuzu to make a hasty escape. Akane leaps from the rooftop in pursuit. Meanwhile, Gyuri observes that Akane is not entirely human. When Akane eventually corners Yuzu, she attempts to stab her, but the protective shield reappears, rendering Akane's knives useless. Yuzu seizes the opportunity to flee, leaving the others stunned. However, Akane can't help but ponder the nature of that shield. Soon, they recapture Yuzu, who continues to try to inscribe her name on the kiss note, unaware that only angels possess that ability. It's revealed that Yuzu's name is Yuzu, and she witnessed the previous events. She wishes to use the kiss note to be with Akane, who has been rejecting her affections. Distraught, Yuzu questions whether Akane's rejection is due to their same-sex relationship or their sisterly bond. Surprisingly, Gyuri casually adds her name to the kiss note, unwittingly entangling herself in their complex love triangle. Seiji and Akane are perturbed by Gyuri's thoughtlessness, but are powerless to change the situation. Now Yuzu must kiss one of them, and she prefers Akane, who reluctantly agrees. Thus, Yuzu avoids having to kiss Seiji, but a stumble leads to an accidental kiss with him. In the ensuing days, Gyuri and Yuzu establish a love clinic at school, advising students on their romantic issues. They assist these students in realizing their romantic aspirations in unconventional ways, much to Seiji's chagrin. Concerned about Gyuri's indiscriminate pairing, Seiji confiscates the kiss note from her. As they leave the clinic, they encounter Mary, the class representative, who appears preoccupied. Akane notices Mary's distraction and eagerly offers to help her pursue a romantic interest. Meanwhile, back at the clinic, Gyuri and Yuzu come across a love letter containing a poem about unrequited love. As they read it, a teacher named Kusunoki abruptly enters, searching for a piece of paper in a state of panic. He hastily snatches the letter from their hands, revealing himself as the letter's author. Akane and Seiji return with Mary, who approaches Kusunoki to offer assistance and inadvertently causes him to collapse in embarrassment. Yuzu quickly discerns that Kusunoki has romantic feelings for Mary, while Seiji realizes that Kusunoki is the person Mary wishes to avoid dating. Despite Seiji's protests, Gyuri and Yuzu are determined to foster a romantic connection between the student and the teacher. They resort to tying Kusunoki up in the broadcasting room to compel him to confess his feelings, but he manages to escape. Concurrently, Seiji converses with Mary about Kusunoki, unaware that Kusunoki is eavesdropping on their conversation. Mary acknowledges Kusunoki's clumsy nature and confesses that it reminds her of her younger brother, making it difficult for her to reject him directly. Kusunoki listens with a melancholic expression. After school, Seiji and Kusunoki engage in a conversation only for Yuzu to arrive with alarming news. Mary has been taken hostage in a bank robbery. As it turns out, the bank robbery was a scheme concocted by Mary and Guri. However, Mary swiftly recognizes Guri when a real robbery takes place. Both girls find themselves hostages just in time for Seiji, Kuzunoki, and Yuzu to arrive. Despite their plan going awry, Yuzu encourages Kuzunoki to save Mary in a romantic and heart-pounding manner. They nonchalantly discuss their strategy in front of the hostages, irking one of the robbers, who fires a shot at Yuzu. Seiji instinctively shields her, resulting in a graze to his arm. Seiji persuades Kuzunoki to confess his feelings despite the tense situation. Kuzunoki summons the courage to attempt to rescue Mary, but his efforts prove feeble. When Akane arrives on the scene, she discovers that the robbers are responsible and transforms into a merciless force, single-handedly subduing the robbers. Who needs a deus ex machina when you have a yandere? While Akane deals with the criminals, Kusunoki finally confesses his feelings to Mary, expressing his desire to be in a relationship with her after she graduates. In response, Mary admits her affection for Kusunoki, revealing that she has been waiting for graduation. Since they decide to be a couple in the future, Guri realizes she can't write their names on the kiss note. The angel resolves that they will be a reserved couple for the future. In the days that follow, Seiji's little sister, Aqua, encounters Guri in the shower while brushing her teeth. Seiji bursts in, surprised to find the angel unclothed, but she doesn't mind as mysterious clouds obscure her sensitive areas. She casually introduces herself as one of Seiji's 3 girlfriends. Disgusted by her brother's complicated relationships, Aqua punishes him by squirting toothpaste into his eyes before departing. As the situation calms, Seiji confides in Guri that Aqua used to adore him, but her feelings have changed over time. At school, Akane brings bento for Seiji, and as they dine together, Seiji inquires about her relationship with her sister. Akane's expression darkens and she apologizes, preferring not to discuss her family life. Later that day, upon learning about Seiji and Aqua's strained relationship, Yuzu and Guri approach Aqua, while Yuzu seeks information to use against Seiji to win back Akane. Aqua rebukes them for criticizing her brother. Suddenly, a small monster named Stola appears behind them. Yuzu flees in fear and Aqua is too horrified to move. As Yuzu runs, she nearly stumbles before Seiji catches her. She adopts an aloof attitude, feigning ungratefulness for his frequent assistance. When she informs him about his sister, Seiji immediately searches for Aqua. Meanwhile, Aqua clings to a tree branch, attempting to evade the Stolas. This isn't the first time the creature has fixated on her since she was a child. As a young girl, she found herself in a similar predicament, perched on a tree branch, while young Seiji outstretched his arms, encouraging her to jump so he could catch her. She cherished her brother back then, but as she grew older and began showing interest in girls and making more male friends, Aqua felt abandoned and alone. The monster Stola has now transformed into a giant demon penguin with expressive eyes, conveying his intent to mate with Aqua. Just as Stola closes in on her, Seiji arrives and convinces his sister to leap into his arms. Initially hesitant, Aqua ultimately trusts her brother and jumps. Riot police later arrive and apprehend the monster while Seiji carries Aqua back home. The next day, Seiji grants Guri's wish for a date. They enjoy their time together until they notice a seemingly perfect couple. Several women approach the man, revealing him as a cheater named Yu, who shows no remorse for his unfaithful behavior. His girlfriend slaps him, and as he prepares to retaliate, Seiji intervenes, kiss note in hand. This intervention inadvertently involves Seiji in the ensuing altercation as the women vent their frustration on Yu. Seiji unknowingly drops the kiss note, and a candle from a woman's headdress falls onto it. Later, when the women have dispersed, Guri kisses the battered Seiji, touched by his overly trusting nature. They are horrified to discover that the kiss note has been completely burned. Upon returning home, they seek guidance from Corley, who is equally perplexed, as this is the first time a kiss note has been destroyed. At school the next day, Akane ignores Seiji throughout the day. Wondering if the burned kiss note is to blame, Guri also arrives at school and clings to Seiji. Surprisingly, Akane remains indifferent to their presence. After school, Yuzu is teasing Seiji for being ignored by Akane when Guri's Cupid friend Tyrant shows up. Tyrant reassures them that the couples made from Guri's kiss note are still in effect because of the power of their love for each other. She then gives Guri her mobile kiss note since she's retiring to become a housewife as she's pregnant now. However, Guri clarifies that there's a chance Seiji and the others are no longer in a relationship with her, which forfeits her blessing. This means that they will die if they are killed. Upon mentioning that, Akane's knife flies straight into Guri's head. She shows up in full yandere mode only to kiss Seiji. She reveals that she read an article about attracting indifferent boyfriends by force, so she put on a cold act in an attempt to attract him. But since boy's dense, he didn't come after her, making Akane cry as she stabs him repeatedly. To Seiji's shock, he isn't dying. And much to his dismay, Guri had paired the 4 of them together again. They have to kiss again because of this, and instead of kissing Akane like she wanted, Yuza gets kissed by Gyuri instead. While everything is happening, a creepy pink-haired lady is watching them from a tree, which only spells more trouble for poor Seiji, who just wants to have a peaceful life. Then again, he already has enough on his plate when he's stuck with a Cupid knockoff, an inhuman Yandir, and his sister-loving Sundir. Well, that's all for now. Make sure to comment down below for more recap videos.